must dream with our eyes wide open if the slumber of decades is to be gently disturbed. Imagine, सबका continent, हम सबका continent, where a truck passes over imaginary lines laden with fresh goods that will no longer, ever be called perishable. Where a kabaddi team from Amritsar, bodies glistening in the winter haze, use that imaginary line to take breathlessness to a new level. Where we arrive at once familiar stations in search not only of our past, but of our future. Where all swords are transformed, finally, into plowshares. तलवार को हल बना दो, यही शायद हल है. To many of us, all this would seem a future fantasy. Some would believe this is quite likely to happen, and some would think it's something that is inevitable.
All India Radio?
People on both sides of the border have a lot to share.
All India Radio का रंगारंग कार्यक्रम. अगली फरमाइश दिलवाले दुल्हनिया ले जाएंगे.
नजर में रहते हो जब तुम नजर नहीं आते.
Pakistani children who recently visited India have returned with unforgettable memories.
दरम्यान में खड़े हुए थे, हमारे एक साइड पे इंडियन सोल्जर था, एक साइड पे पाकिस्तानी सोल्जर था. हम दोनों से पूछ रहे थे कहाँ पे बॉर्डर शुरू होता है.
उठो कबड्डी कबड्डी खेलेंगे सरहदों पर. जो आए अब के तो लौट कर फिर न जाए कोई. नजर में रहते हो जब तुम नजर नहीं आते. ये सुर मिलाते हैं जब तुम इधर नहीं आते.
Visa restrictions quite often prove crippling to these contacts.
First areas we have to look at is easing of visas. Unless there is interaction between the two sides, how can we take steps forward?
बंद आंखों से अक्सर सरहद पार चला जाता हूँ मिलने मेहदी हसन से. आंखों को वीजा नहीं लगता, सपनों की सरहद कोई नहीं.
In the past 60 years, both the countries have developed several big cities and heavy industries. Prosperity through peace, though, remains elusive.
हम अब लड़ने की पोजीशन में नहीं है क्योंकि दोनों न्यूक्लियर ताकत हैं और ये लड़ाने वाले हमें हमारे अपने नहीं है, ये बाहर के लोग हैं.
There have been several common issues that remain unresolved: poverty, health, education, to name just a few. Most of the resources have been consumed in wars and conflicts and standoffs.
Trade should be done in the way that it brings benefit to the common man and to the poor.
Education का challenge है, health issues बहुत बड़े हैं क्यों population भी बहुत बड़ी है. Environmental issues आ रहे हैं, पानी की issues आ रहे हैं. तो ये जो इतने बड़े challenges है, ये एक regional challenge है और ये कोई भी एक मुल्क अकेला हल नहीं कर सकता है.
The world is moving away from nation-state structures.
If you look at European Union, you look at NAFTA, America, and if you look at ASEAN countries, so all these, their trade with their neighbors is, in terms of volumes, is the highest. And why should this area, which is what we call SAARC countries, be left behind?
Regional trade blocs are considered the best way to the future. They build on trust. Pakistan and India have all the ingredients for making the subcontinent a progressive and vibrant region. Natural resources, manpower, and a geopolitical location make it an ideal region, not only for bilateral trade, but also to help India get trade access to Central Asia. Liberalized trade would help the two nations focus on poverty, health and education more effectively.
That will create our interdependence with each other, you know. When you have interdependence with people of two countries, then people think a lot before they enter into disputes.
In fact, the advantages of trade liberalization in the region appear to be greater for Pakistan. India has a sizable automobile industry. Pakistan can import automotive components and spare parts at a lower price as compared to Thailand. India, on the other hand, is also expected to benefit from its relatively low raw material electricity and labor costs. Textile and apparel sectors are considered vital for economic growth in both countries. This sector contributes 18.8% in India and 65.6% in Pakistan out of the total value of their exports. India is considered a major exporter of high value-added textile products, and Pakistan a competitive supplier of cotton goods, men's apparel, home textiles and fabrics. India is the largest supplier of iron ore raw material. The country has contributed up to 69.2% of the world's total iron ore imports. Pakistan's iron and steel product imports from India account for just a small fraction of its total imports. About 46 items have been identified that are cheaper to import from India. India is among the world's top 20 pharmaceutical exporters and among the top 5 manufacturers of bulk drugs. Pakistan imports items worth $196.8 million from India out of its total pharmaceutical imports of $2.9 billion. A considerable increase in the imports of pharmaceutical items and chemicals from India will cut the cost drastically. In 2010, revenues generated by the Indian IT industry were $62 billion as compared to the Pakistan's estimated $3 billion industry. In 2010, revenues generated by the Indian IT industry were $62 billion as compared to Pakistan's estimated $3 billion industry. India can help Pakistan promote its IT industry through joint ventures. India's middle class comprises 300 million people with a rising purchasing power comparable to southeastern Europe. Pakistan's middle class is approximately 30 million, so even a 10% share in the Indian middle class market would double the market size of Pakistani companies. A huge youth population is an asset to both the countries. Joint ventures such as in IT and the service sectors can make the best use of this asset. Peace requires a pragmatic approach towards addressing ground realities. Pakistan, being a less developed country, needs to work harder both on internal and on the regional levels.
जिस दिन इस रीजन ने ट्रेड शुरू कर दी, इसके नताइज इतने अच्छे होंगे कि यहाँ बेरोजगारी नाम की कोई चीज आप नहीं देखेंगे.
Now the time has come to have an action plan to bring it to the ground and to move forward.
Finally, both sides are beginning to realize that there is a lot of goodwill, and now the time has come that we have to capitalize on that goodwill.
The joint move of the Times of India and by Pakistan's Jung Group under the Aman ki Asha's platform have led to tremendous results. A survey in India shows the terror perception about Pakistan has drastically dropped from 75% in 2009 to 42% in 2010. The awareness on the Kashmir issue in India has risen from 4 to 17%. Aman ki Asha has impacted our lives. It has brought about a greater awareness about Indo-Pak relations. It has communicated the people's desire for peace to the governments, and it has succeeded to bring the people closer together in this period. Peace between India and Pakistan has been tantalizingly elusive, yet inevitable. It is time to yield to the inexorable and celebrate diversity in a spirit of tolerance, forgiveness, and hope.
ये सुर मिलाते हैं जब तुम इधर नहीं आते, नजर में रहते हो जब तुम नजर नहीं आते। ये सुर बुलाते हैं, ये सुर बुलाते हैं जब तुम इधर नहीं आते, ये सुर बुलाते हैं जब तुम इधर नहीं